Yeah, exactly. A lot of ADC focus, but obviously Tristan also works as that flex, right? So a lot of opportunity to use it for Yagao or Ruler, TT, Corki as well. Of course, if you're unfamiliar on 1410, there's a lot of games have been played now. Corki is now an AD champion, right? He's no longer got the predominantly AP mixed build, and Corki, whilst his changes have been a lot more geared to try and shift in towards as a bottom laner, we still see him quite frequently in the mid lane as well. And what does that do? It opens up some of these AP junglers that I was talking about as well. So let's see what Beichuan does decide to land on. Corki, whilst he's been moved away from that poke sort of variant, we've seen, you know, shifting and varying builds from Corki, from crit to lethality, both kind of offering front to back or poke respectively.
Yeah, I've been torn if I like the lethality more or the like Trinity Force Fleet Footwork build. I'm glad that we're seeing flexibility in Corki. He's not just like scale and use rockets. We are seeing some of that kind of, oh, you got to be in there and get dirty.
Yeah.
Which I can appreciate very much. It looks like Feather's not going to go to the Enchanter's. Going to be back to his normal of the Nautilus. We also get the Leona on the other side. This has been another pick that's been really rising in priority around the LPL.
Yeah, it definitely has been. And when you're against the Nautilus as well, Leona has historically had a very, very strong lane matchup into it. But what it does spell for both of these teams is, you know, relatively reliable engage, right? So very, very exciting for both of these sides. They've both got flexed ADs right now. And there's the Kanavi Nidalee. So what will Beichuan answer it with, right? When you've got that Corki there, you've got the opportunity for Ucal to pilot, and then for, of course, Beichuan to pick up one of these AP junglers. Something like the Brand was hovered. The Nidalee was obviously also hovered by him, but snatched away by Kanavi. Do you want something like that Nidalee? Not the Nidalee, the Lilia as well, right? All of these things up and available. Very, very powerful tools. If you want the Karthus.
All right, just go with the, hey, I'm just going to out-farm and out-scale you. The thing that's scary about this and what is terrifying now is you're giving Kanavi so much control around the jungle, around the map, right? He's going to be the one that can initiate movements into Beichuan's jungle. Beichuan going to have to find a way to deal with that.
Yeah, what TT need to do to try and facilitate this Karthus pick from this point on is try and ensure that they can secure very consistent lane priority, right? If this is going to be Corki in the mid lane, they might end up suffering. So I imagine now we might actually see 1xN pilot this, and then we see Ucal pick up a champion that's going to be able to kind of contest mid prio a little bit more easily. We'll see, though. It definitely can shift both ways still, right? TT, they might just decide to put Corki mid regardless, but they go towards that TF ban for now. Definitely a very strong pick at being able to lock down, you know, some of these sort of more immobile champions like a Karthus. Very easy, just throw a gold card and then he can't move, and you will get Leona Hoya, then all the rest of the follow-up will suck. And they're going towards that Renekton as well. So maybe eyeing up a Cassante for themselves as a blind up in the top side. Seems like the safest bet. JDG just trying to hammer in on 1xN's champion pool. They go towards the Jax. What will Hoya want here? I feel like with that Jax gone, the Cassante just makes the most sense, but we'll see exactly what the priority wants to be for TT. They still have the option as well of revealing this Corki flex, and it seems like they might do just that on this lock hovering over the center.
I think they have a lot of options still available for their final pick here as well. I think the Nautilus Senna just makes sense here. You're going to get a little bit more safety in the bottom side. All right, well, hey, it's the fourth pick of their side, so might as well just go ahead and pick the Master of 4 and Jhin. The utility going to be important here, Jamada.
Yeah, but I'm loving this right now, right? I mean, kind of mentioned a lot of these champions already. The Karthus being able to just kind of press his R key, the engage from Feather on this Nautilus, and then Jhin also raining down, right? These kind of potentially siege opportunities are going to be very, very strong with some of these tools. The pick opportunities as well, with so much reliable engage. It's going to look really, really good for them. JDG going to round out their comp by revealing the Tristana Flex. It will go into the mid lane for Yagao. When you see Nidalee there, it does make a lot of sense. The Sivir now as well to play that front to back. The spell shield so pivotal at blocking any of these spells on the opposite side from TT. And Flandre likely going to lock in a tank. He's hovered a bunch. Zach's a pretty solid option here. Sante as well would be pretty unkillable.
I really like the Sivir. Just gives you that late game scaling, the double marksman comp, but also that safety like you're mentioning. The Zach also length of engage right now, going to be a pivotal tool for JDG. The solar flare plus the elastic slingshot. Long distance is the name of the game, followed up by the spears. TT, they need an answer for Hoya. They saved this final pick to try to get something that's going to be good into Zach, and it is the Poppy.
All right. Okay, Hoya, I see you. Poppy, of course, the Steadfast Presence, a very, very good tool at denying very specifically that elastic slingshot, but there's 3 other dashes that are, 2 of them are pretty easy to predict inside of the rocket jump, and of course, the dash in from the Leona when she's looking for the engages. So I like this as a countermeasure to some of the engage, but also it's strong follow-up as well, especially inside of the jungle. So TT, a lot of scaling inside of the Karthus, inside of the Corki, but, strong engage, strong poke through the Corki and the Jhin. I'm liking what they're putting down. For JDG, a lot of very reliable scaling through the Tristana, through the Sivir, double DPS AD carries, and very, very strong engage between Leona and, of course, the Zac. And I think, realistically, we're just going to be keeping our eyes on the jungle matchup, right, Mazel? This is Karthus and Nidalee, right? It's all about the tempo. It's all about whether or not Kanavi can interrupt the farming patterns here of Beichuan to stop him from scaling up for free, to stop him from kind of being able to build up a massive tempo lead. Karthus can very quickly take over a game if he's allowed to get, 2 full clears, undisturbed. All of a sudden he's level 6 and he can interrupt any skirmish on the map with that Requiem.
Yeah. Very different looks and strategies going into this game 1 for both these sides, but it's going to be a lot of fun either way. You have TT, who have been locked out of playoffs, and it's been a while, guys. We'll see if they can make this push here in this Group A. They want to grab their first win. JDG, the looking like the top dogs of Group A here, want to go up yet again. Game 1 of JDG versus TT kicks off now.
Let's see exactly. As the gyros ring out, I've missed them. As they quieten down. What Kanavi and Beichuan. Alright, well, Kanavi just won the whole game. But
is that how you call it? It's just
that's how you call it, yeah. Let's see where they decide to go. As I told you, there's going to be a lot of complaining today from me, Mazel. I've got 1 complaint already. Beichuan Dark Harvest. Not a fan. Won that first strike. To me, the first strike setup, it's a lot more damage for one, like front-loaded onto your ultimate. But also, the gold is nice, right? The skirmishing power early on. The Dark Harvest, what it can provide for you is some of that, like, sort of, I wouldn't say confirmation on some kills, but, like, perhaps resets if you're able to, start to run over a fight in some kind of extended skirmish. Then Dark Harvest, you can see its value if you proc it twice.
Yeah. And I think the other thing, yes, we're going to have a big spotlight on jungle, but I think it's also looking at how quickly lanes can join jungle. Like, that defensive posture is going to be super important, and we've seen that be actually super pivotal in a lot of moments. So especially Ucal and Yagao, they're going to have a big spotlight on themselves. This bot lane, maybe not as much focus. We'll see what the path has since we do have opposite sides, but I think the most interesting thing is we highlighted earlier a little bit of the newness versus the oldness of JDG versus TT here, but 1xN against the organization that he came up with on their JDG LDL squad, and here trying to make it against Ruler, missing the faces of JDG.
Yep. Very much always one of those things where when you come up against, a team that you were a part of for a little while, there's a little bit of pride in trying to, at the very least, have a good showing individually. Being able to take them down is always a very, very sweet prize. Now, this is what I wanted to know, is whether or not Kanavi was going to do his 3 camps and then look to try and invade. He could also just look for an angle onto Ucal here, poke him out a bit. Oh, spear goes wide.
Got the speed of the wings of that big manatee. Not too bad, not too shabby. JDG, try to strike first in mid lane. That activity is going to be super important against Kanavi. And I'm going to give you a 1-2 punch, because not only is 1xN against his old organization, but so is Feather. So they've got the 2v2 of Joy Dream going against Ruler and missing. And we got to see a little bit of a 1-2 punch with the Jhin Nautilus combo down there. Let's talk about that a little bit. How are they going to utilize that?
I mean, to me, it's about, trying to set up once this level 6 comes in. That's where the power of Jhin and this Nautilus really comes online, because the Depth Charge is then kind of just a confirmation for a Dredge line into a Deadly Flourish from downtown. It's just a very, very reliable combo. Very hard to get out of, and it's only really on Ruler to find the timing for a Spell Shield to block out one of these spells to stop the combo from happening. So that's really where I'm looking towards CT, as Feather has consistently found these Dredge lines, and a very strong trade comes out.
Only thing you gotta be careful is that Boomerang Blade. There's the Jhin. Here comes Beichuan to show his face for the first time down bot side after full clearing his jungle.
But it's so difficult to
go
catch
for
this
the
wave.
dive. if they get this dredge line here, Missing and Ruler are disconnected. I don't know how this is going to go, but Ruler's going to throw some damage out. Feather's going to dodge out. There's first kill for TT. It's going to be Ruler's flash, though, and now a TP a little bit late, but maybe enough. 1x in wants to get the fourth shot. He gets some. That's going to be a double there for Beichuan. The Karthus getting 2 kills is huge. Feather needs to save him, though, because that'd be a lot of gold to Flandre. They are going to walk away scot-free. It's 2-1 early, but that Karthus getting kills is huge.
Yeah, it's 2 kills to Karthus, though. Kanavi's going to try and find a consolation prize on the top side of the map. That teleport from Flandre was nice, but he's going to sacrifice a little bit of a wave for it in one way. Actually, no, he's going to stick on the bottom side, and as I make that call, Ruler's actually going up to shove this wave back out. Hoya's not quite able to catch out Kanavi and give him a little bit of pain on the way out. So JDG, it's a nice bounce back as they kind of reset themselves inside of the lane assignments off the back of this play. But for TT, let's get a look at the execution, as there's not really much to complain about on the Missing takedown. Very hard for him to really find a play. But it's about when this teleport comes in, and 1xN taking that extra tower shot really sucked for him. As Beichuan kind of gets that drive-by Q.
It's a good flash there from Beichuan to get away from the turret aggro. That would have been a much different fight. They do move, though, now out of that bot lane, because 1xN on the Jin will be fine. They're going to move Feather out onto the map.
Yeah, okay. This is going to end up being fine, because Siv's got a lot of wave clear. Very hard for Hoya to tank up the whole wave. Stop him from pushing in here as
the bane of a Jin, any CC. Oh my god, he's looking to get the 4 shots with the speed up, but he's just dying to tanks. Luckily he gets out. Deadly Flare's gonna miss though. Feather looking for a re-engage, might just get his life taken from him by the Cougar Claws. 4th shot from 1xN, ready to go, but Feather just dies to the Cougar. And that's Kanavi getting one back for himself.
This is an easy redive for JDG. They can really push out 1xN here if they want to. Very easy CC. Beichuan as well could be a free target. He's no flash.
Man, he's just a Jin. No. Kanavi beautifully juggles it. That those bloblets aren't going to survive long enough, though. Unfortunately, Flandre, he's going to give a kill over to Beichuan, trying to get one back. But that is huge because I got to check in. Our win condition was this Karthus scaling, and he's got 3 kills now, Jamada.
He's got 3 kills. He's going to farm up that Grump as well. Kanavi's going to smite that one away. Get himself halfway to level 6. And once he resets and moves back up to the top side, Beichuan's going to be level 6 at like 7 minutes. So he's on real good pace for himself. 3 kills. Already got the Sork shoes. Okay. Now, this is where, you know, my brain starts to tinker. I really hope for Beichuan that he's not going to go Malignance and he's going to go Blackfire Torch. Because one of those items is definitely a lot stronger on Karthus than the other. And I'm not going to let you know which one it is until he's completed it. He's got the Fated Ashes.
Blackfire. I'm just going to take a
He's got the Fated Ashes. So it won't be Malignance, thankfully.
Yep. So now, as we were talking about it, how does JDG get back into this? Some of that proactivity still going Kanavi's way through all of this, because he also has gotten 2 kills. And I think rightfully so, our focus on the jungle is working out, but he needs to stay proactive.
Yeah, so my only counter argument to this, Mazel, is which one of these champions can press R and deal like a guaranteed flat amount of damage to everyone on the enemy team?
I'm trying to make it work in my brain.
Yeah.
The Cougar, there's the R button, you jump in afterwards, you do a lot of damage. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, you know, I suppose so, to a point. Let's see how the dive plays out. Unfortunately, for Flandre, he couldn't find that connection on the elastic stretchy arm onto Beichuan. But it does help in taking down 1xN. And yeah, funny death cam. Beichuan picks up another kill there. But all in all, I think they're probably okay and content with trying to set 1xN just slightly further behind in the immediate play. But when you really kind of take a zoom out, he's actually up 500 gold from the assists, right? So he's actually doing pretty similarly for himself, all things considered. So he's not too bad. You mentioned how the JDG get back into it. I think just trying to consistently be a little bit more proactive, right? Get Kanavi involved. He's the one with 2-0 right now. This mid lane, Yagao's kind of just been farming it up and keeping a moderate amount of pressure. And I think that mid lane matchup is going to remain that way for a little while longer. As a TT looked like they were eyeing up a jungle stop, or maybe they're looking for a fight on the backside of it.
We did see JDG sneak away the 3 grubs on the opposite side. TT rightfully so, wanted to kind of push their presence out a little bit more to maybe stop JDG from just immediately taking both objectives. But this is the kind of setup that we were talking about from draft, where JDG have a lot of control of the map. They, at this point in the game, when they're a little bit more up and running, it's very difficult for TT to wrestle control of places.
Yeah, it is, right? It's very, very hard. All Beichuan will check with the Wall of Pain, so won't find himself in a world of one. But it's very scary for TT, especially whilst Feather doesn't have level 6, right? If you send in a Nautilus and he face checks, at the very least he's able to get like a depth charge off, and then maybe you can find some kind of cheeky setup off the back of that, right? Dredgeline alone does make it a little bit difficult to really confirm a lockdown all of the time this early on into the game. In those kind of settings where you don't really have that pressure. JDG, I think now they're going to start, or look to start up that dragon. As Feather had to take a reset. 1xN forced off the wave. And that should be a very, very free dragon. So both those early objectives will go the way of JDG. Grubs are up in 2 minutes. What's TT's answer? Because as I look at the map, it feels like there's not really one, to be honest with you. Feather's opened up onto the top side of the map. They can look maybe to dive Flandre, but I feel like, you know, it's Zac. It's very hard. And the best you could really do is hope that Beichuan gets the kill with the Requiem from the other side. So it just looks like it's going to be Vision. That'll be the answer for them. And maybe they try and contest Grubs in 90 seconds time with it.
Yeah, I think getting some of that preemptive vision from TT is big. It should get cleared out pretty heftily by JDG as they move missing to that side of the map as well. But all of this is to try to position around these Grubs. Meanwhile, top side is the big focus, and Flandre caught looking a little bit there. Will be sub 200 health, and here comes the Requiem. He's healing a lot, though.
Oh.
No, yeah, but the flash from Hoya shuts him down. Big hammer slammer.
Big hammer slammer. I think right on the back end there, Flandre just about picked up a blob, which brought him above that Requiem threshold. Remember that Q is now Feather. How much trouble is he in?
Feather. That's a 4-level difference. Yagao walking up behind you to take that spear to the dome. Beichuan gonna flash over. Solar Flare goes out. Feather sacrifices his life to get Beichuan out of there. Hopefully it's enough.
Yeah, it should be for Beichuan and his 3 Dark Seal stacks. Does just about waddle away, but this should be confirmation of a little bit more of a lockdown setup. Actually, tell a lie, Missing's not got many wards, or any wards actually left in his support items, so maybe looking towards a dive. 1xN, nope. Wave's gone too quickly, so just looking to maintain control on this top side, look for that 6 scrub action. TT, will they realistically be able to contest this is the answer, especially with that Carthasol being down. I feel like the answer's probably no.
And you also
like
have
to
the
see a
Blade
bit of a
the
cross
Ruin
map.
King
Yeah.
for Yagao. That's actually pretty huge. And that's where you're going to start seeing maybe the double marksman style come out clutch. Also, you know, getting 6 grubs with the Tristana helps a lot. They got the 4, so they got the mites anyways. TT maybe trying to move in to make sure they can't get all 6 and initiate grub again. Yagao getting TP'd on. That spear is going to take a chunk from Hoya. He's trying to get out of here after TPing in. Maybe a missed call there by TT. They'll move out after. Oh.
Yeah, I just don't think they were anticipating, as Flandre should be fine. I've lied to you all.
I think you were lying. I think there was a bit of cap in that stint. There will be the Bloblets going down. Ucal picks up an easy kill for TT.
Yeah, apologies for the pork bite, but yeah, TT should be able to get the remaining 2 grubs now off the back of that. I don't think there's going to be much contest. Ruler is not going to be picked on that top side. Hoya though,
Nice combo.
good steadfast presence.
Yeah, trying to connect the spear, does it definitely hit one on the back end. There goes those 2 grubs over to TT. And we'll go to Kanavi now, trying to clear out the rest of Beichuan's jungle, but he's on the top side farming away. So let's check in at that style that we were talking about. Kanavi has been proactive, but my God, when you look at TT's comp and the minutes start ticking, I am terrified.
Yep, so do I. I'm very, very concerned. Corki on this patch, very, very powerful. Got a collector, first item. I can't remember off the top of my head what the collector build path is on Corki. But I do know that the true lethality build that I've been seeing doesn't off the top of my head involve collector. So we'll see where he decides to go with it, as Kanavi did want that blue buff, but Hoya will play bodyguard. And yeah, as you know, time ticks on, it's not going to be an early soul by any means either. For TT, they are kind of chilling, right? Karthus is probably going to hit level 11 in, let's say, 2 minutes time. Maybe 3. As he tips over to 10. And life will be good, right? You've got this Karthus scaling up. Corki, we know what Corki does, because if there's one thing that hasn't really fundamentally changed, despite all of the changes to Corki, is that he's still a very strong late game champion. So JDG, it's not that there's necessarily a hard timer on this game, because I feel like when you've got tools like, you know, Zac and Leona for engage, all it really takes is one solid find onto 1xN, onto Beichuan, onto Ucal, and then the game just feels really good. But it feels like that default kind of neutral game state really does lean in TT's favor as they're starting up the Herald, but the setup's not that good.
Yeah.
This isn't the best setup I've seen.
They have double collector complete. Oh, Beichuan tanking that spear. Here comes Feather blocking a lot, but Flandre over the top like a wrestler from your favorite. And now we get this steal away by Kanavi. Things have gone from bad to worse, and that Requiem is nothing short of just a bit of a miracle. And JDG, they move in, they clear out, and now they have full control. Meanwhile, Hoya trying to go all the way in on bot side. He does have a bit of damage here. Oh, stopping the rocket jump. Oh, can't hit the smash down.
Very, very unlucky. That Q doesn't find the slow. Could enable a chase down. Get a flash out of Yagao, you never know. But TT, plain and simple, just skipping steps, man. They don't have mid lane wave pushed in. No one's there to catch it on the side of JDG. They're just in the river, looking at them start this Herald up and get the free contest. And like we said, right, it's so easy for Flandre to find target access to then set up missing onto champions like Jhin and Karthus. It's so simple. So for TT, you can't really allow for JDG to get that kind of freedom for those engages. Oh, you're just going to get run over. That spear will just go wide.
He wasn't cool enough, though. He didn't stand still.
Didn't believe.
Got a little scared.
Mazel. Didn't believe. And now JDG off the back of that play, right? Just from finding that Herald fight, mid lane tower tier 1 gone, tier 1 on the bottom side gone, all of that gold funneled in. And again, it's just the skipping the steps through the mid lane, realistically, that makes this play so difficult, and Flandre having such an easy angle. You have to have these waves shoved in at the very least. And yeah, the follow-up is solid. JDG, there's not really much to say about this. When TT give them such a freebie, they just kind of take what's given to them. Yeah, it's very hard to deal with.
It's so hard to position around that, especially when you have the likes of a Jhin who really want a solidified backside of the fight. That does not exist against this composition. And if you step up, you're going to be right in the meat grinder of it. So JDG utilizing some of the strengths of their composition well. And remember, this is a JDG team who was locked out of MSI. It was a disappointing spring, and they are back with a vengeance, even if they're taking a little bit of time to warm up here, Jamada.
Yeah, I will say this is a much more cool, calm, and collected game. And I did highlight Kanavi coming into it, and I said, you know, look, I need to see Kanavi have a solid game. That tends to be what dictates JDG having a good one overall. Yagao, though.
He felt like he was back on the farm. He was just chilling as Hoya tries to go for the wonky play. Can't do it. Requiem's going to come down. Yagao's going to fall over to Beichuan, but JDG have some fight back to him. They got claws of their own, and Ruler finally comes in to help Kanavi secure that one. Now they got Hoya caught completely out, and between a rock and a hard place, they take him down. 2 more kills for Kanavi. King Kanavi is right back at it, 5-0 on the Nidalee.
It looked good for a moment for TT, but the play overextends, and JDG are there to capture Hoya and Feather, pick up all of the freebies on the other end. And I went a bit ballistic for a second as, hold on, Ucal, no, he's fine, because I thought, never mind, let's see how this skirmish plays out.
Beichuan. Get a chance to talk. Ruler is here. Kanavi wants more kills, but now Ruler is going to get his own. He's dropping in some gold. Look at that huge stretching strikes over the wall. And now Yagao wants some more, but he goes right into melee range. He's going to die immediately to 1xN. JDG trying to go in big. Zenith Blade from missing. And here comes the onslaught. You're just a Jhin in a non-Jhin world. And Ucal's trying to Valkyrie in his way out, but the beautiful slingshot. Hoya's going to deny it, and Ucal makes it out with the flap of his wings. Hoya, maybe not so lucky as Ruler wants to chase him down, but can't do it.
Well. JDG, what have they done? They've taken over the bloody game. Very hard for TT.
I'd say so.
is Kanavi's got 6 kills under his belt. There's just keep fighting, man. Just keep going.
Oh,
Get themselves
goodness,
the red.
The fact that Hoya goes back in there.
All right. Do we have a moment to breathe? That's realistically the question. And I feel like our answer is finally yes. Is the replay the topside play? I'll let you know why I went mental. I thought for some reason Hoya managed to E this creep. It wasn't an E onto the creep.
No.
It was a buff and buster shot. Don't worry. As, yeah, they do pick him up. Yagao, that is, with the Requiem. But they take so long in getting there that JDG catch up with the Sivir, and then, yeah, the chase down. It's so easy. Everyone's very, very easy to capture. And then, yeah, you look here at 1xN and Beichuan trying to find the collapse, but these Qs just aren't connecting from Beichuan on the initial part of it, and then they get engaged on. Stretching strikes over the wall. Longest sack arms you'll see all year.
But I will say Yagao's kind of nutty for that one. He jumps straight into feathers like, you aren't a Nautilus.
Yeah, it's very, very bold, shall we say, of Yagao. But, hey, at the very least, what we've learned about Yagao in that player is he's not a KDA player, right? He's in it for the love of the game. He's got his heart in it. And that's the important thing, as 1xN is, yeah, again, learning what it's like to play against Zach.
God, yep. Well, more so what it's like being a Jhin against any sort of CC. Feather will join him. And unfortunately, the big brothers of JDG are looking down upon their little brothers in 1xN and Feather. The would-be JDG LDL duo back on TT together against their former organization and being put in the dirt.
Yep, he is. And I mean, for JDG, you know, we can harp on about Kanavi as much as we want. 8 kills, legendary. Won't find that spear. But Flandre and Missing, they've been the ones setting up for it. Kanavi's just the one with the damage. Plain and simple. As JDG will get their 3rd dragon, and then just looking to set up siege across map. Ucal. How much danger is he in?
Oh, maybe a little bit of assist. Oh, he's not dead. Okay, finally he dies. I was about to say the explosion's still going to do it. The tower falls as well. Feather try to re-engage on the Missing here. Depth charge going to be used. They just want something back. 4 shots up and ready to go, and there you go. 1xN gets his 2nd kill of the game.
All right, so a little bit of consolation. Ruler doing his best reckless impression, farming up everything he can on the Civet. As Beichuan will now check his Raptors. Probably sigh in his chat. But he's got a mid-wave, so everything's alright. You know, just take it for 1xN. He just picked up his IE, he doesn't need it. But yeah, TT, they're on the struggle bus now. Very, very far behind. It's so difficult, you know, playing against Nidalee at this point in the game with so little control.
But that's the thing,
Beichuan, a tear rolled down his cheek.
We were talking so much about the scaling on TT. Oh, he got a couple kills early. This is huge. But then JDG just turned on the tempo, and all of a sudden you look across from you've got an 8-0 Nidalee staring at almost 3 items here, completing that Magi's just now. And it's so hard to think, can we survive another 10 minutes to make sure our comp makes it?
Yeah, I feel like the answer, I'm just gonna let you
know.
No, 1xN, bro. 1xN, your place is hugging that tower, like physically, just touching the tower at all times. But yeah, at this point, it's so difficult, right? Because Civet just gets pretty much guaranteed prio on every single wave. And it just enables JDG to walk in and slowly gain control wave after wave, as they know that TT have to have someone on that wave to pick it up. And then Yagao as well on the side lane now has so much control. It feels like that, you know, scaling fantasy that we were talking about is a very, very long way away.
Yeah. And the craziest part is that Kanavi has, yes, there's been a lot of support from the team. A lot of the movements and timings have been really big. He's the only one that's almost at 100% KP, right? Like, he has single-handedly been dictating a lot of this game on the Nidalee, and it's good to see him back in a place of power, a pillar for JDG for so long.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ.
Just half health Beichuan, no big deal. Kanavi looking to add more pages to that Magi's. Ucal won't be in any danger this time, but we'll certainly have to take a reset. And now it just feels like a matter of time between whether or not JDG decide to pull the trigger on a Baron or wait for this Dragon Soul, right? And that's really the big question, whether or not they even want to allow both those objectives to be up at the same time. Flandre just proc and demolish for the love of the game.
Oh, deep TP, deep TP.
Oh, yeah,
they got
very
Hoya
deep.
on a massive flank. Let's see if they can get
know
Yagao
something's
here.
up.
He's already used the rocket jump into the wall bang, into the deadly flourish, into all the damage, and Ucal picks off Yagao as JDG caught lacking a little bit.
They have to try and turn this into Baron. I think they have to desperation play this now. It's 4 versus 5. Flandre is a little chunked out, but has teleport. They can burn this relatively quickly.
This
TT.
is where Kanavi wants to be.
Yeah. It's scary. Poke. Big Baron pullback. They want the turn.
There. With that half health on the Beichuan with one spear combo. There goes Flandre, though, immediately into the Bloblets. But the Baron, and the AoE! JDG are cleaning house here! Wetrium's gonna come across. One more spear connects. That is not gonna be enough from the curtain call. One more shot goes completely wide. 1xN fights back, but JDG deny the Baron take from TT.
My word, the AoE there was nasty as well, and I guess JDG need to hand that Baron a contract. No. TT, they weren't quite able to find the successful turn. They did do a lot of damage in terms of being able to burst out Flandre so quickly, but Beichuan was out of mana. I think he ran out of mana right on the back end of that play. Didn't help him out, and TT as a whole, again, you know, even being able to pin down the Zac in this specific play, it's so difficult to not get run down by Leona, by Ruler, when he's unfazed, right? Untargeted. As they look for the turn initially, it's great disengage, but Beichuan, you can see here, he's now effectively not a champion.
Yeah.
And Ruler's ricochet here just hits everyone. Missing goes forward. It's just so hard to play. It's so difficult to play. And like you said, it was where Kanavi wanted to be. It was where Ruler wanted to be.
Yeah.
More importantly.
And I'm not going to lie, 1xN missing a bunch of those shots does not help.
Yeah,
That's the
didn't
kind of
help.
cleanup you've got to have as the Jhin. That's your moment. That's literally the stage is set for the man himself. But TT not wants to back down. There's a dragon. They want to deny the soul. Flandre's on a flank. He's been spotted out. They know somebody's back there, but meanwhile, they're losing their base. TPN, JDG don't want to shy away from a fight. They're going to go, whoa, he's all the way out of there. Because now you've got JDG without the front line, but did it matter? No, because that wall is the size of a bank, and they just dropped it on the heads of TT. Ching, ching, baby. That's a 1-0 for JDG.
JDG had a little bit of contest in those first couple of minutes, but we asked for them to deliver a clean game, and by golly have they. They'll take this series. Game number 1. It'll be a little bit slow as the rest of the team come in now. Flandre had that teleport in. TT had a couple of good moments, but JDG, once Kanavi got rolling, felt like the rest of the team around him, Flandre, the engages, missing the engages, really solidified that lead, and there was no rebuttal as they take this first game of the series.
The most terrifying thing about that game was the brutality of some of those decisions that they made. The execution on some of those team fights were insane. That Baron take with the AoE from Ruler, making sure to pepper that in there. The fight before that, where Flandre perfectly finds the backline access with the double elastic slingshot hit into the stretching shot. Like, there were just so many fights that JDG looked clean, and I know that's the decision you wanted from them in this series. So TT definitely going to be worse for wear after that one, but maybe trying to learn a little bit, and it is fearless, so no more crazy Wombo comp there. Jamada, you have any thoughts from TT coming in?
They don't have to deal with Zac anymore for the rest of the series. They can pick a mobile AD carries now and feel a little bit safer. Maybe. Who knows? We'll see. I like the idea, though, coming out from TT. So, at the very least, I think we asked for them to be creative. They were creative. Now let's see how they try and adapt in game number 2.
Can't do nothing in the jungle. The Karthus leaves you open like a book. Now, let's go ahead and see what TT can bring to us in game number 2. We'll step away for a short break.